So bad. You know what's not so bad though? Christmas, Josh.
Christmas is
Christmas is
awesome.
a great time, and we thought we would take some time here at the end of the show. We haven't done this in a while. We're gonna do some fun topic, and the fun topic is Christmas, but our favorite Christmas traditions or memories. I guess we could do memories. It's up to us. I don't really care. There's no rules to this game. But my wife did send it. You know, she's probably sleepy now. But my wife did send us saying one of her favorite things is eating your dinner leftovers for breakfast the next day after Christmas here with her family. So I thought that was very fascinating because
Interesting.
I think in America we think that more of at Thanksgiving, but it makes sense because here they celebrate really 25th and 26th and 24th. So you have a lot of meals and such. But why don't you start, Josh? Why don't you give us a number? You said you chose 5 things, correct? So do you want to?
Yeah, I do have 5. They're in no particular order since I didn't know about this until like a little before the show started.
I text you like 2 hours before. It's like, hey, we're going to do this today.
I'm also going to preface this as my family doesn't really do a whole lot of Christmas traditions.
Same.
We just kind of, do our normal thing and whatnot. So these are going to be more so maybe a mix of things that we have done and the things I've seen other people do that I like.
How about you start with a top one and we can kind of go down the list?
Yeah. So this one's actually food related too. Christmas Eve, typically at our house, we usually got Christmas movies playing on in the background.
Oh, yeah.
We've got games that we're playing, Shanghai Rummy, a popular card game in our household. And we just do basically a smorgasbord of snacks, like different chips and dips.
Not healthy at all for you.
And wings and mozzarella sticks and fries and like all that kind of stuff, like just a bunch of snacks like that. So that's usually our Christmas Eve.
I like that. I think for me, like in my family, I don't know if we really did much Christmas Eve. And my mom's probably in the comments like, "Oh, we definitely did this when you were a kid."
We definitely did a lot more when I was a kid. I'll give us that.
So one thing I do love, and what I loved about my mom and dad was before we opened gifts, and this happened even when I was in college, I'd come home for Christmas or whatever, is we would read the Bible story. For many times it was out of just the straight, whether it was ESV or whatever it was, but then my mom used to get like children's books and we would read it like in that version, which was really cool. So for me, that was always like a highlight, that we'd sit there. Usually my brother and I would wake up way too early thinking we could, convince mom and dad to open the gifts up early. But no, always had to read the Bible verse first because it is the reason for the season, as we both believe in. And so
for sure,
that's always been a memory of mine and something that I hope to carry on with my family one day as well.
And kind of on that note of the reason for the season, our family used to do or follow the Advent calendar too.
Oh, that's really cool.
From the start of December till the end, and we'd light the candles and talk about which candle was which and what they meant and stood for, and we'd go through a different page in a book each night as we got closer and closer. So yeah, that's another one that we did as a kid that we don't really do now, but a tradition that's been in the family before. That's cool.
One of my favorites is my mom and dad making breakfast on like Christmas Day. Like it would be like my mom making pancakes. Yes, the pancakes out of a box because it's the freaking best. And I believe we did that. I think we've even did that, because again, I said this earlier. This is like my 4th Christmas away from home. So again, this could have changed. I'm sorry, mom and dad. I don't really know. But I know growing up, it was always my dad would cook the bacon and the eggs. He had his thing. He had his little apron on, just, my dad doing his thing. So that was one of my favorite things, like waking up after you open your gifts, you're excited for your gifts, but hey, mom and dad are making breakfast at like 10 a.m. And you just eat a bunch of unhealthy breakfast food, and enjoy it. I miss that, from being from home, but yeah, that's really a good memory for me.
Yeah. Let's see, another one. This is when you get to see people's artistic side come out, and that's any kind of gingerbread house building or cutout cookie decorating. You get your, you make them into like either gingerbread man or Christmas bells or Christmas tree shapes, snowman, and then you get your icing and all the different colors and try to spread it on all smooth, and then like either put some glitter on it or sprinkles or make a face or whatnot. And you really get to see how creative some people are, and also, I mean, it is kind of a skill, and I'm not the best at making them, but some people are awesome at it, and it's great to see them at their craft. Just make some cookies that are going to look so beautiful, but still taste exactly like my crappy looking one at the end of the day. So
it's true. This is interesting because I didn't really do gingerbread houses growing up. We really didn't do that. I mean, maybe at school,
Yeah,
but I
we're
don't
much more
remember
on the cookies, and
that.
maybe
Well, I
we
didn't
did
even
a
do
gingerbread
cookies
house
really.
once
I
or
mean,
twice.
I would eat
No
cookies,
kidding?
but yeah, we never
Okay.
really did any of that. But one thing that we did do that I remember, so like obviously our house. I mean, you've been in our house. It's been kind of remodeled since then, but we used to have the basement is where we kept the tree, right? That this
Okay.
plastic tree. Because listen, everyone's gonna hound me because our family didn't do a real tree. Okay,
Well, we didn't do
listen,
real trees
listen.
either.
Let's be honest. Who wants to have a tree that can be like lit on fire in 3 seconds, or like freaking you need to water it all the time? So we did a fake tree, and I remember this was just always a fun tradition. It was always like I think a week before Christmas, maybe a little bit earlier. I can't remember, but we'd haul these stupid bins all the way up from downstairs. My dad would be like so annoyed. He'd be like, "Move out of the way," like we're just like trying to get this stuff up. My mom would have all the boxes of the ornaments, just like they're labeled. They have their own little box, Benjamin and Jared's box. It's all labeled, and you like always had to choose the ones you wanted to put up. And I think to me, like I always took that for granted. And I feel like now I really realize like the importance of that as a family, and you kind of have that ability to do that and put the angel on top. There was always that and everything. And I think that just it's cool because you drive in the driveway when I was in high school and you'd see the tree up, and I think that just puts memories into your life. I think that you last for a lifetime.
So another super cool one, and I don't know if this is something that's only unique to Ohio, definitely the United States,
Probably.
but zoo lights.
Oh, dude. Fun.
Yes, and for us it would be the Toledo Zoo, since that was usually the
Yeah.
closest one. But basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's zoos in the state of Ohio and possibly other states. I have never explored that, but they're still open even in the winter, and it's cold and it could be snowing, so you gotta definitely dress for the weather. But they decorate the whole
It is
entire
phenomenal.
park in Christmas lights, and it's just so many lights, and it's always beautifully well done, and it's really cool to go and check those out sometimes.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. Actually, so I have this one's tied in. There's like multiple versions of this, but for me would be Christmas lights, and one of mine would be the Columbus Zoo. I think Columbus Zoo does a phenomenal job of Christmas lights. We wouldn't go every year, but we'd probably go like every other year. I remember going. The Clifton Mill, which was right down from Cedarville. I think I probably went 1,000 times by this point. But my favorite was when we were kids and my mom and dad would get us in the car and we would drive around to the neighborhoods and see the different lights, right, that people put up. And some of those people would have radio stations connected to their lights.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Phenomenal. Just great idea. So like here in Europe, you really don't, it depends on where you're at. You don't really see it. Like here in Budapest, they have a Christmas market. So things are, very vibrant. But for me, that's probably one of my favorite memories growing up is just and traditions of having Christmas lights, but then seeing different people what they do, and again, that's another creativity that is really cool to see at Christmas time.